UA Wellington. Standard year 10,082 to 10,191. Medical doctor of the Sook School. Grade standard 10,112. MD Marcus BG standard 10,092 to 10,186 ? Chief Lena is betrayer of the Duke Leto Atreides. CF Bibliography Appendix 7 Imperial Conditioning and Betrayal from Dictionary of Muad'Dib by the Princess Rulan. Although he heard Dr. Yueh entering the training room, knowing the stiff deliberation of the man's pace, Paul remained stretched out face down on the exercise table where the masseuse had left him. He felt deliciously relaxed after the workout with Gurney Halleck. "You do look comfortable," said Yueh in his calm, high-pitched voice. Paul raised his head, saw the man's stick figure standing several paces away, took in at a glance the wrinkled black clothing, the square block of a head with purple lips and drooping mustache, the diamond tattoo of Imperial conditioning on his forehead, the long black hair caught in the Sook School silver ring at the left shoulder. "You'll be happy to hear we haven't time for regular lessons today," Yueh said. "Your father will be along presently." Paul sat up. "However, I have arranged for you to have a phone book viewer and several lessons during the crossing to Arrakis." "Oh." Paul began pulling on his clothes. He felt excitement that his father would be coming. They had spent so little time together since the Emperor's command to take over the fief of Arrakis. Yueh crossed to the L table, thinking, how the boy has filled out these few past months. Such a waste. Oh, such a sad waste. And he reminded himself, I must not falter. Wise Yueh is done to be certain my wand no longer can be hurt by the Arconan beasts. Paul joined him at the table, buttoning his jacket. Will I be studying on the way on the way across? The tyrannic life forms of Arrakis. The planet seems to have opened its arms to certain tyrannic life forms. It's not clear how. I must seek out the planetary ecologist when we arrive, Dr. Hines, and offer my help in the investigation. And Yueh thought, what am I saying? I play the hypocrite even with myself. Will there be something on the Fremen? Paul asked. The Fremen. Yueh drummed his fingers on the table, caught Paul staring at the nervous motion, withdrew his hand. Maybe you have something on the whole Arrakeen population, Paul said. Yes, to be sure, Yueh said. There are two general separations of the people. Fremen, they are one group, and the others are the people of the Graben, the Sink, and the Pan, There's some intermarriage, I'm told. The women of Pan and Sink villages prefer Fremen husbands. Their men prefer Fremen wives. They have a saying: polish comes from the cities, wisdom from the desert. Do you have pictures of them? I'll see what I can get you. The most interesting feature, of course, is their eyes. Totally blue, no whites in them. Mutation? No, it's linked to the saturation of the blood with the melange. The Fremen must be brave to live at the edge of the desert. By all accounts, Yueh said, they compose poems to their knives. Their women are as fierce as the men. Even Fremen children are violent and dangerous. You'll not be permitted to mingle with them, I dare say. Paul stared at Yueh, finding in these few glimpses of the Fremen a power of words that caught his entire attention. What people to win as allies? And the worms? What? I'd like to study more about the worms. The sandworms, Paul said. Ah, to be sure, I have a film book of a small specimen. Only 110 meters long and 22 meters in diameter. It was taken in the northern latitudes. Worms of more than 400 meters in length have been recorded by reliable witnesses. And there's reason to believe even larger ones exist. Paul glanced down at a conical projection chart of the northern Arakean latitudes spread on the table. The desert belt and soft polar regions are marked uninhabitable. Is it the worms? And the storms. But any place can be made habitable if it's economically feasible, Yueh said. Arrakis has many costly perils. He smoothed his drooping mustache. Your father will be here soon. Before I go, I have a gift for you. Something I came across in packing. He put an object on the table between them. Black, oblong, no larger than the end of Paul's thumb. Paul looked at it. Yueh noted how the boy did not reach for it, and thought how cautious he is. It's a very old orange Catholic Bible made for space travelers. Not a film book, but actually printed on filament paper. It has its own magnifier and electrostatic charge system. He picked it up, demonstrated. The book is held closed by the charge, which forces against spring-locked covers. You press the edge, thus, and the pages you selected repel each other, and the book opens. So small. But it has 1,800 pages. You press the edge, thus, and so, and the charge moves ahead one page at a time as you read. Never touch the actual pages with your fingers. The filament tissue is too delicate. He closed the book, handed it to Paul. Try it. Yueh watched Paul work the page adjustment, thought, I solved my own conscience. I give him the surcease of religion before betraying him. Thus, may I say to myself that he has gone where I cannot go. This must have been made before film books, Paul said. It's quite old. Let it be our secret, huh? Your parents might think it too valuable for one so young. And Yueh thought, his mother would surely wonder at my motives. Well, Paul closed the book, held it in his hand. If it's so valuable, indulge on an old man's whim, Yueh said. It was given to me when I was very young. And he thought I must catch his mind as well as cupidity. Open it to 467 Alima, where it says, "From where does all life begin?" There's a slight notch on the edge of the cover to mark the place. Paul felt the cover, detected the two notches, one shallower than the other. He pressed the shallower one and the book spread open in his palm, its magnifier sliding into place. "Read it aloud," Yueh said. Paul wet his lips with his tongue, read, "Think you of the fact that a deaf person cannot hear, then what deafness may we not all possess? What senses do we lack, though we cannot see and cannot hear another word all around us? What is there around us that we cannot..." "Stop it!" Yueh barked. Paul broke off, stared at him. Yueh closed his eyes, fought to regain composure. What perversity caused the book to open at his favorite passage? He opened his eyes. Saw Paul staring at him. "Something wrong?" Paul asked. "I'm sorry," Yueh said. "That was my dead wife's favorite passage. It's not the one I intended you to read. Brings up memories that are painful." "There are two notches," Paul said. Of course, Yueh thought. One marked her passage. His fingers are more sensitive than mine and found her mark. It was an accident, no more. "You may find the book interesting," Yueh said. "It has much historical truth in it as well as good ethical philosophy." Paul looked down at the tiny book in his palm. Such a small thing, yet it contained a mystery. Something had happened while he read from it. He had felt something stir his terrible purpose. "Your father will be here any minute," Yueh said. "Put the book away and read it at your leisure." Paul touched the edge of it as Yueh had shown him. The book sealed itself. He slipped it into his tunic. For a moment there, when Yueh had barked at him, Paul had feared the man would demand the book's return. "I thank you for the gift, Dr. Yueh," Paul said, speaking formally. "It will be our secret. If there is a gift favor you wish from me, please do not hesitate to ask." "I need for nothing," Yueh said, and he thought, why do I stand here torturing myself and torturing this poor lad? Though he does not know it. Damn those Harkonnen beasts. Why did they choose me for their abomination?